Studying for your Illinois CDL? These 50 questions can help. Hit like, hit subscribe, and let's do this.
Question 1. The basic control skills test may include exercises such as straight line backing and offset backing. True or false? True. These exercises assess spatial awareness, control, and mirror use in low-speed environments. Question 2. Recapped tires are allowed on the front axle of a commercial vehicle in Illinois. True or false? False. Only virgin tread tires are permitted on steering axles. Recaps are illegal in this position. Question 3. The air leakage rate for a combination vehicle with brakes applied should not exceed 4 psi per minute. True or false? True. Illinois adopts FMCSA limits, 4 psi per minute for combinations, 3 psi for single vehicles. Question 4. During the air brake test, it is acceptable for the warning light to come on at 50 psi. True or false? False. The warning must activate before air pressure drops below 60 psi. Any later is a system failure. Question 5. The governor cutout pressure in an air brake system must not exceed 135 psi. True or false? True. Air brake systems must maintain a cutout range between 100 to 125 psi. Anything over 135 psi is considered a malfunction in Illinois. Question 6. A CDL driver may use marijuana off-duty in Illinois if they have a medical card. True or false? False. CDL holders are subject to federal drug regulations which prohibit marijuana use in any form. Question 7. On combination vehicles, the trailer air supply control should be left open when parked. True or false? False. This would release air from the trailer brakes. The valve must remain engaged to keep the brakes applied. Question 8. A vehicle's frame should be checked for cracks, bends, or illegal welds during a pre-trip inspection. True or false? True. Frame defects compromise structural integrity and are a common reason for out-of-service violations. Question 9. A school bus driver must activate the stop arm and flashing lights before loading or unloading students. True or false? True. This alerts other drivers to stop and ensures students can safely cross or board. Question 10. Anti-lock braking system, ABS, malfunction lamps must come on at startup and go out quickly. True or false? True. This confirms that the ABS system is operational and self-checking as intended. Question 11. You must test the trailer emergency brakes by pulling out the trailer air supply control. True or false? True. This simulates air loss to the trailer, verifying that the emergency brakes engage properly. Question 12. You may legally use your cell phone while driving a CMV if you are at a red light. True or false? False. CMV drivers are prohibited from holding or using handheld mobile phones while operating the vehicle, even while stopped. Question 13. You can skip the pre-trip inspection part of the CDL skills test if your vehicle passes DOT inspection. True or false? False. The pre-trip is a required part of the CDL exam, regardless of vehicle certification status. Question 14. Only CDL Class A drivers need to perform a coupling inspection. True or false? False. Any driver operating a combination vehicle, Class A or B, must perform a proper coupling check. Question 15. An Illinois CLP is valid for 180 days and can be renewed once. True or false? True. This allows enough time to train and take the skills test while preventing indefinite permit holding. Question 16. The Illinois CDL skills test requires a pre-trip inspection, basic control skills, and a road test. True or false? True. All three components are mandatory to assess the driver's knowledge, control, and safe operation skills. Question 17. Buses must be equipped with emergency exits labeled and equipped with buzzers that sound when opened. True or false? True. These systems help ensure passengers and drivers are aware of unauthorized or emergency use of exits. Question 18. Tires must not be mismatched in size or construction on the same axle. True or false? True. Uneven tires can cause instability and are not permitted during Illinois CDL vehicle inspections. Question 19. Only the driver's side mirror must be checked for cracks or secure mounting during inspection. True or false? False. Both mirrors must be secure, clean, and free from cracks to ensure adequate visibility. Question 20. A cracked windshield is allowed during the Illinois CDL skills test if it doesn't obstruct vision. True or false? False. Any defect that affects visibility or structural integrity is disqualifying during the test. Question 21. On vehicles with manual slack adjusters, you must check that push rods do not move more than 1 inch when pulled by hand. True or false? True. This is a required part of the brake inspection, and anything more indicates improper adjustment. Question 22. Backing without a spotter is allowed during a road test if you're confident in your mirrors. True or false? False. While spotters aren't always required, safe and cautious backing is essential. Poor visibility without assistance is penalized. Question 23. Illinois law prohibits carrying unauthorized passengers in a school bus. True or false? True. Only individuals listed on the passenger manifest may be transported per state regulation. Question 24. The Illinois CDL test requires vehicles to have working seatbelts for the driver and examiner. True or false? True. Non-functioning seatbelts are grounds for immediate test failure or cancellation. Question 25. When inspecting spring brakes, the driver must verify that parking brakes engage automatically when air pressure drops. True or false? True. Spring brakes should activate between 20 and 45 psi. If they don't, the vehicle must not be driven. Question 26. Illinois CDL applicants must pass a vision test with at least 20/40 vision in both eyes. True or false? True. Vision screening is a prerequisite for testing. Failure to meet the minimum standard disqualifies the applicant from proceeding. Question 27. Double trailers are allowed to use any lane on Illinois highways. True or false? False. Illinois restricts double and triple trailers from certain lanes and routes due to length and maneuverability. Question 28. The Illinois DMV allows CDL testing in rental trucks with expired registration. True or false? False. The vehicle must be fully road legal and represent the correct CDL class. Expired registration is disqualifying. Question 29. The cargo weight should be evenly distributed and properly secured to prevent shifting. True or false? True. Shifting cargo can lead to loss of control, rollovers, or damage to the vehicle and is a critical inspection point. Question 30. The Illinois DMV will waive the road test if you pass the pre-trip and basic skills with high scores. True or false? False. All three phases of the CDL skills test must be passed independently and cannot substitute for each other. Question 31. Placards must be visible from all four sides of a CMV transporting hazardous materials in Illinois. True or false? True. Placards are required to be clearly visible on all sides to ensure emergency responders can easily identify the cargo type. Question 32. It is acceptable to carry fire extinguishers that are partially discharged if the gauge shows green. True or false? False. The extinguisher must be fully charged, secure, and rated correctly for vehicle type and cargo. Question 33. Drivers do not need to test emergency exits on a school bus during the pre-trip inspection. True or false? False. Emergency exits must be checked for proper function and alarm activation before operating the bus. Question 34. It is acceptable to block the aisle of a passenger bus with carry-on baggage. True or false? False. Blocking aisles violates safety regulations and impedes evacuation during an emergency. Question 35. A safety inspection of the brake system includes checking slack adjusters for excessive movement. True or false? True. Excessive slack indicates brake wear or maladjustment and can lead to delayed braking or failure. Question 36. Tankers are especially prone to surge, which affects stopping distance and handling. True or false? True. Liquid movement can cause forward and backward forces that require longer stopping distances and careful speed management. Question 37. You are allowed to shift gears while driving over a railroad crossing in Illinois. True or false? False. Drivers must not shift while crossing tracks to avoid the risk of stalling in a hazardous location. Question 38. Hazardous materials may be left unattended in a public parking lot for up to 30 minutes. True or false? False. Hazardous materials must never be left unattended unless parked in a secure and authorized location, per federal and Illinois law. Question 39. Some materials, like explosives or poison gas, require drivers to stop and check tires at specific intervals. True or false? True. This rule minimizes fire risk from overheated tires and is federally mandated for specific hazmat loads. Question 40. In Illinois, a CDL applicant must wait 14 days after receiving a CLP before taking the skills test. True or false? True. This is a federal and state-mandated waiting period to allow time for proper training and practice before attempting the skills test. Question 41. Drivers must check the coolant level only when the engine is hot. True or false? False. Coolant should be checked when the engine is cool to avoid burns or inaccurate readings. Question 42. CDL holders in Illinois may exceed posted speed limits by 5 miles per hour while passing. True or false? False. CDL drivers must obey all posted limits at all times. There is no exemption for passing maneuvers. Question 43. You must carry shipping papers within reach while driving a hazardous material load in Illinois. True or false? True. Papers must be readily accessible for law enforcement or emergency personnel in case of an incident. Question 44. When parking a manual transmission CMV on a hill, leaving it in neutral is acceptable if the parking brake is set. True or false? False. The transmission should be left in gear to help prevent rollback in case the parking brake fails. Question 45. You may legally drive a CMV in Illinois while your medical examiner certificate is expired. True or false? False. An expired certificate invalidates your CDL privileges until renewed and submitted to the DMV. Question 46. Surge in liquid tanks only occurs during braking. True or false? False. Surge happens during acceleration, braking, and turns, not just braking, affecting control and stability. Question 47. You can legally smoke in a hazmat vehicle as long as it is parked. True or false? False. Smoking is strictly prohibited around hazardous materials regardless of vehicle status. Question 48. Drivers of vehicles carrying passengers must stop within 50 feet, but not less than 15 feet from railroad tracks. True or false? True. This is required by Illinois and federal law for safety at crossings, especially for passenger and school buses. Question 49. A broken exhaust system can allow dangerous fumes to enter the cab or sleeper berth. True or false? True. Leaking exhaust poses a serious health risk and must be repaired before operating the vehicle. Illinois CDL inspections require checking for loose, broken, or missing parts. Question 50. You may disable ABS on a CMV if it malfunctions and shows a warning light. True or false? False. Disabling safety equipment is illegal. The vehicle must be repaired before use.
That's a wrap on this one, but if you're still prepping, keep the momentum going with the next video or grab the cheat sheet linked right here.